Platinum with Pure Plus technology launch. So this is an exciting day. Hope you're excited. We make this stuff here, right? So no planned alarms, just a safety moment. No planned alarms, and we're going to have a lot of fun outside later on. But we got some important messages here today. So I'm going to introduce Rusty Barron, and he's going to start talking through some stuff, and then we'll have some more fun. So this is going to be fun and exciting. All right, Rusty, to you.
All right, so again, I think I've met a lot of you. I won't say all of you, but a lot of you, probably about a year and a half ago. I think we were doing one of the business plan cascades before the new air conditioning system, and it was, I remember it was pretty hot in here that day. So shortly thereafter, Gary said, well, we did a little project. You'll notice a difference when you get here. So, but again, Rusty Barron, so I run the marketing for Shell Lubricants for North America. And appreciate very much you allowing us to come out and talk about Pure Plus. Obviously, you guys are at the heart of all that. So we're really excited about being able to share with you kind of how we're telling the story, not only across the rest of our staff, but also with our customers, and we'll share how we're telling that story with consumers. And then we have some special guests that we'll invite them to come up and help kind of continue to tell that story. So I'm just going to keep going while who's ever running as we pull up the slides and video, but let me kind of start with this, and that is that this is the next revolution in motor oil. What we're actually introducing is going to change how people think about motor oil. It's going to change how consumers think about motor oil. And if you think about the fact where Pennzoil is today, okay? Pennzoil is the #1 selling motor oil in the U.S. It's the most trusted motor oil in the U.S. So you could go on and talk about all the great things we do, but one of the things I'll point out is if you look at synthetics, we are not the #1 selling synthetic in the U.S. Okay, Mobil 1 has had that spot for about 3 decades. Okay, we know, and we're the #3 spot for full synthetics. Okay, so again, we're #1 when it comes to overall brand and #1 selling motor oil. But again, you break it down to synthetics, we're not #1, and a lot of the marketplace is going to full synthetics, right? And we have found ourselves battling in and out of that #3 spot. You know, occasionally we do a great promotion, we get a lot of sales, and we'll see ourselves in #2 spot. But the difference between where we are today and get to #1, there's a pretty big gap there. So we knew we're going to have to do something really different to be able to make that leap. And as you guys know, I mean, we've been as a company working on GTL, gas to liquid technology, and how to bring it into our products and how to be able to talk about it to consumers. I mean, this technology is 40 years in the making. So 40 years ago, some of our scientists were working on gas to liquid technology, right? Got it to a place that now it's commercially viable, and we'll talk more about that in a little bit. But what's exciting about it is we found a way to now tell our story that this product is born from natural gas. And how many people in here are kind of seen as either the expert in your own family or certainly in the neighborhood? People know where you work, and so if there's a motor oil question, they ask you. How many people get those kind of questions a lot about motor oil, right? All the time. But then there's also another group of people that aren't really engaged in motor oil. We are, because that's what we do. It's our livelihood, right? So it's pretty interesting to us, but for a lot of people it's not. But I will tell you, you start to tell the story that this product is made from natural gas, the whole thing changes. I mean, I could give you just a couple examples. I was out at the Houston Open just last weekend, okay? And if you were out there, if you visited the Open, when you walked through, there was kind of a shell world you walked through. And there was, you know, we had some Fuel Rewards Network people out there, and they were kind of doing a spin the wheel, and you could earn some free discounts on gasoline. And we had the F1 car out there and some other motorsports, and then the NASCAR was out there with our paint scheme, Pure Plus Technology paint scheme. And the hood was up. So you can kind of watch people walk through, and you see that, you know, the car people, the engine people, the car guys, they walk over the car and start talking about the engine, horsepower, everything else. And what's interesting is we use the paint scheme to kind of tell a story about, well, the reason why the paint scheme is different what you normally see is introduce our new motor oil, it's made from natural gas. The whole conversation stops. What? It's made from natural gas, really? So that's where we said, you know what, there is some magic in this. We've got to figure out how to take that magic and turn this thing on its head and be able to compete and be the #1 selling synthetic motor oil. So that's what we're doing. That's what, so maybe, can we show the video, or you want me to? Yeah? Yeah. Let's go to the video, because I want to show you just, this video I think helps tee up how are we going to use this to take us to a new place. So let's do that. It's the first video. Starts with the, yeah.
There's nothing quite like it. It's in its own class. Every innovation is a culmination of everything that came before. It's not defined by the standard. It redefines it. And we're not even talking about the car. We're talking about the oil inside. The next force. Frontier. Innovation. The next revolution in motor oil. We're talking about Pennzoil Platinum motor oil with Pure Plus technology. The next synthetic made from natural gas. One that starts as a pure base oil before being enhanced with our best additives to create a revolutionary motor oil designed for complete protection. So get ready for 2014, because Pennzoil Platinum is about to grow the synthetic motor oil category like never before by generating over 5 billion media impressions through an increased social media presence. Original branded programming. A rocking music platform to reach millions of fans. Marketing integration with world-leading innovators. An exclusive collaboration with Hennessy Performance. With showcases at auto shows and car clubs, NASCAR paint jobs, and the return of the Yellow Submarine. Plus, we'll be strengthening our partnerships with Ferrari, Chrysler, and SRT. Introducing the next revolution in motor oil.
All right, pretty cool stuff, huh?
There's
So what we're going to show you is a little bit of the materials we're using and what we're calling roadshows. We have gone out and now completed 25 roadshows around the U.S. with our customers and with influencers that are actually working with consumers every day on which products of motor oil to buy. And then we've got an internal training program we're doing, similar to what we're doing here. We've touched 18,000 employees so far, and we haven't even launched the product yet. And again, I guess I would start with my word of thanks for this group, because it starts right here. We couldn't have done what we're doing right now if you guys weren't doing what you do. And as you go through and you see and you kind of hear some of the things we're doing, you know, we have our Fuel Rewards program. We couldn't do Fuel Rewards without this plant, because you guys know we're putting codes under the cap, and we're putting the bottle flags on the bottles, on quarts and big bottles. That's how we're telling, that's how we're getting the message out to that part of the promotion. So again, before we kind of start, I just wanted to say we recognize that, again, this plant is critical for us as a company to hit our goal of trying to get the #1 synthetic, and we will get there by 2018. So as we kind of go through, we'll tell you some of the things, the signs we're already seeing that give us confidence that we're well on our way. So again, how we'll kind of do this is that John Trabowski is our national account manager. He'll take you through a little bit of the technology. I'll share some of our consumer marketing and some of the things we're doing. We'll invite some of our special guests to come up and talk about how they've been involved in this, and then we'll open up for just questions. See kind of what's on your mind. Yeah? All right. So with that, next slide.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here with you. My name is John Chabrowski. As Rusty said, I'm a national account manager for Retail Lubes. Don't boo me, but I handle Napa. But appreciate it. I'm also a Pennzoil Pure Plus ambassador. I'm very passionate about our brands, and it's really exciting to be here today because getting to see, the last time I've been at this facility was probably 10 years ago. So to see the people behind the magic, and that's really what we're talking about here with this technology story with Pennzoil Pure Plus. It's magic. When you really think about what's happening and what we're bringing to the category, like Rusty said, when you stop and tell somebody natural gas, and I've done that. I've been on the road for almost 3 months now doing Napa meetings, and time after time again, we get all these people together that are working the counters, working the store owners, and they're like, wait a second, natural gas? So we're going to share with you a little bit about that technology story here in this quick video. Two screens, way to go. Technology has showed up. So of course this video is going to show you everything I'm going to talk about in the following slides, but we'll get you both ways with your both learning styles. A quick round of applause for Claudia. She's doing a great job pulling this together.
Into this product, the innovation has been 40 years in the making to do something of this magnitude. I'm a science fiction fan, and when you think about we're able to make a motor oil out of natural gas, that feels like something out of the future.
Imagine crude oil to be like a muddy river. Now imagine natural gas to be like a clear water vapor. So if I go to a muddy river and I take a cup of water from that river and I filter the water, it will still have impurities left in the water. However, if I condense water vapor or steam into a cup of water, that water will be much clearer and purer than the water that I got from the muddy river. In the same way, base oil made from natural gas is purer than base oil which has only been refined from crude oil.
So if you think about traditional refining, traditional creation of base oils, you're starting off with big long chain molecules, and you're trying to sieve out the longer chains from the impurities, and you arrive at a pretty satisfactory base oil. If you turn that process on its head, and you start building up these bigger molecules from much smaller ones, and you arrive at a base oil that is 99.5% pure.
Pennzoil Platinum with Pure Plus base oil starts out clear and pure. When we add our high-performance additives, it turns it a nice golden yellow color. These base oils and high-performance additives provide complete engine protection without compromising any one area. Complete protection includes cleaner pistons, better fuel economy, horsepower protection, unsurpassed wear protection, and extreme temperature performance.
I think one of the things that's really exciting about Pure Plus base oil is that it's really the best of both worlds. So it helps you in cold temperature climates because of its really excellent cold properties, but it also helps you in hotter temperatures because it has very low volatility.
If you think about a modern car engine, it's a very complex system, and keeping all aspects of that system clean is really very important to keep it running as designed.
Pennzoil Ultra Platinum with Pure Plus technology is able to keep pistons up to 25% cleaner than Mobil 1, up to 35% cleaner than Valvoline SynPower, and up to 40% cleaner than Castrol Edge with Syntec.
So one of the benefits of being a small team like SRT, we work very closely with Pennzoil, and the tight tolerances that we require is exactly the benefit that Pennzoil Ultra Platinum with Pure Plus technology gives us. Being a gas-to-liquid technology which changes natural gas to liquid, it provides a much purer oil base you can get from crude oil. There's less impurities in it than crude oil does, which allows you to now add the additive package and get a very complete system. For the last 2 years now, we've been racing the new Viper, and it also uses first fill from Pennzoil Ultra Platinum. And we found that the oil we put in our passenger cars is good enough for the race.
Motor oil, to me, is probably the most important thing in a race car. The motor's their heart, and luckily enough, with Pennzoil Ultra Platinum with Pure Plus technology, it separates everything apart from the other oils that I've driven. I just remember this year in Le Mans when we were at 3, 4 in the morning, going flat out at 200 miles an hour down the back straightaway. It's an added confidence for the driver to have this oil in your motor.
When we take some of our vehicles out to go break a speed record, and we're turning 200 plus miles per hour and pushing 8,000 plus RPM, Pennzoil Ultra Platinum is the only oil that we'll trust to give us protection from friction.
I've been around cars my entire life, and this is the most exciting and innovative advancement in motor oils in decades. I trust Pennzoil Platinum technology to help my team win on the track. I trust Pennzoil Platinum to protect the cars that drive off our dealership service lots. And I trust Pennzoil Platinum in my own garage. It's going to be a real game changer.
What do you think? Motor oil reimagined. It's really exciting when you see that. You know, you have so many of you have so many different functions to make that come alive, and then you see what we're doing from a marketing standpoint to bring this out to the public. It's an amazing story, and it's an amazing way that we're presenting it. I just personally share, like I said, I've been in front of customers for 3 months now, and when you show that video and you begin to really hit the elements that what we're differentiating, when you can pound that we are 25%. Now we have those claims. When you really begin to mix this all together against Mobil 1, we are climbing that mountain and we're going to overtake them, I can guarantee you, because we get a lot of consumer wow factor like Rusty mentioned, and so it's just really exciting to see that starting to take place in the marketplace here in the next coming weeks. All right, what else we got? So again, as Shanna showed you in the video, quick analogy is taking that cup of muddy water out of the river, trying to refine it, and you still have impurities. So the natural gas story is taking the natural gas, converting it to that clear liquid through steam, and that gives our Pure Plus base oil, 99.6 something % pure. And it really allows those additives. That's why we're hammering so hard the complete protection. That's what we're really sharing with customers and our partners is the complete protection aspect. Next slide. So cleaner pistons, fuel economy, horsepower, unsurpassed wear, and then extreme high and low temperature. And so, you know, we can really share that we are flagship above Mobil 1, and then it just gets exponentially greater past them. If you look at the rest of those charts, that's really an exciting story, how we have all come together as one big team. All the resources, the scientists, the technicians, the operators, the blenders, the packagers, the marketers, the salespeople. We are bringing to the market first of its kind something extremely exciting. So there it is again. That's just something get those images in the forefront, because you're going to see that. That's where we're really going to be pushing is the 5 elements, complete protection. Because get feedback all the time as I interact with customers. Oh, we may have just cleaner pistons. No, we actually are able to deliver because of the Pure Plus technology. Each one of those additives allows each of those areas to perform at its top within the engine, and that's the exciting story for us. So, what does that mean in terms of how we're getting out to the, to the consumer? So, how are we going to get their attention? How are we connecting? Where are they going to see it? What's the campaign? I'll let Rusty share real quick here about that, and then I'll pick it back up in a second.
So let me also kind of explain it this way. Consumers have seen us and our competitors talking about one of those, facets of benefits for a while. And we got to where we were all kind of seen as the same. So people got to, they said, you know what, whether it be Mobil, whether it be our product, they start to see there's really no difference. And so now I'll take you back. The one thing we have that starts with natural gas is we are different, right? So you get the wow factor says, all right, so clearly I've not heard this before, you are different. But is it better? What's in it for me? And that's those benefits. And what the team came up with is those icons, so that not only you or our influencers talking to consumers, or consumers, they look at the label, they can see how is it better? What's different about it? So the story itself is not an easy story. It's not a story that you can just go and tell in a 30-second commercial. We realize that, but it's a powerful story. So we said, all right, how are we going to tell this? And you can go to the next slide. We're going to spend more because this, we got one shot at it, right? You've got to get the story out, and you've got to make sure it's impactful. And we kind of look at this and say, you know what, we got one shot at getting it right. So our investment this year, if you look at, because we get data on what our competitors spend, if we look, and if they continue to trend this year like they are right now, with what they've done the last 2 or 3 years, and you look at our investment this year, we will outspend the next 2 competitors combined in 1 year. So we're really doubling down on Pennzoil. We said we're going to go out and tell this story. And again, it's not something that you can just simply go out and do a 30-second commercial on. So if you wanted to show the next slide. So what we're going to do is I'm going to share with you some of the kind of unique ways which we're going to get this story out. You will see more traditional. You're going to see TV commercials, okay, like we've done in the past. The difference will be is we're going to do TV commercials that have never been done before the way we're doing them. Because we're trying to connect back to our gas story, natural gas, that the commercials are actually going to be filmed with projection technique that's actually, it's going to fill up a warehouse with gas, and they're actually filming it with projection onto the gas. So the images will kind of bust through, and so it's going to be really unique and different that's never been done before. So we said, all right, even our most traditional ways of telling the story, we're going to break through that and tell that a little different. But we said, you know what, that's not going to be enough. So we said, how do we, if we think through the cycle of how this works, you know, we have brand awareness, you tell your story, and then what you hope is actually people say, you know what, I'm going to go buy that. And that works for about 30% of the population. Those people that raised their hand earlier and said, yeah, I'm kind of seen as the expert, they're going to go out and they're going to do internet research on this, and they're going to figure out, hey, what is this story that's made from natural gas? Motor oil made from natural gas, what is that? There's going to be people that go do that research. And we said when that research starts, we want to make sure they're not getting messages just from us. They're hearing from other people. So for us to do that, we had to go tell that story well before you tell it to consumers. And that's what we've been doing. We've been working with various folks to say, okay, how do we break through kind of the clutter, if you will, to be able to tell the story? So one of the things we did, I don't know, has anyone heard of South by Southwest? Okay, yeah, in Austin. So did anybody see that Pennzoil is out of South by Southwest? Yeah? So there's 3 areas to South by Southwest. And actually I'm okay that a lot of people in this room didn't raise their hand, because guess what? You're not the group we're going after in South by Southwest, okay? We do a pretty good job of reaching the folks that are fairly engaged with our industry. And I'll talk about how we're going to do that through the auto shows and the car clubs and things like that. But you know who we don't get to? Is the young audience that's not really engaged in this conversation, okay? So we went to South by Southwest, and we got involved, and we were the sponsor of the interactive part of South by Southwest. All the gaming, all the video, and all that new technology that comes out. We have never been in that kind of space before. So we said, now if we go out to that space and just say, hey, Pennzoil's out here, we're going to tell our story of motor oil, it would have been crickets. Nobody would have showed up, right? So what we did is we did a deal with Nintendo. Nintendo was coming out with their new Mario Kart game. Anybody ever play Mario Kart? You know? Yeah? So they just came out with a new version of that. So we said, all right, this is how we're going to do this. So we partnered with Nintendo, and we actually built basically a live video game on the streets of Austin, okay? We got a karting company to come out, and with RFID technology and GoPros and all this, you basically were driving around a track as if you were in a Mario Kart game, running across icons like you do in a game, except the icons were our icons, okay? So we were able to tell the story to the media, and there were consumers too, but the line was like 4 hours long, but people were standing in line, doing it, and coming out raving about it, you know? But the point is that we reached a different audience we've never reached before. We reached news media we've not reached before. So we had USA Today, we had NBC News, you had Yahoo, we were on the front page of Yahoo News. Jimmy Kimmel, anybody watch Jimmy Kimmel? Yeah? Guillermo, you know who Guillermo is? Guillermo came out, dressed him as Mario, Guillermo went around the track, okay? It was on Jimmy Kimmel Live. So we reached, I think there were over 500 stories written about that event. And the whole connection was, why is Pennzoil doing this? They have a new product out. It's a motor oil made from natural gas. And I was happy with just the fact that we got to that point where people say, what? I'm going to go learn more about that. So, something that we've never done before to try to reach a different audience. And then we're actually going to New York next week for a premiere of a documentary to help tell the story. Because again, we're trying to find ways to take this, very interesting, but not just a simple 30-second commercial story and bring it to life. And in the New York Auto Show, you've got now the media that's actually tied into our industry. So we'll have an opportunity to tell that, and we'll talk more about that maybe in a little bit. What are some other interesting things I'll tell you? Oh, so Pennzoil's been involved in motorsports for a long time. You guys know that, right? In the 1980s, Pennzoil really made a mark in motorsports through the IndyCar series. Anybody remember the Yellow Submarine? Yeah? So one of the things that we get asked a lot when we go out and participate in motorsports events is, why don't you bring back the Yellow Submarine? That was really cool. People remember the fact that we were winning the Indy 500 back then. So Rick Mears was a driver. Rick is only one of 3 men that have ever won the Indy 500 4 times. Okay? And he was driving it in the Yellow Submarine. Elio Castroneves, our driver today, has won 3 times. He needs another win. We're going to take the Yellow Submarine and bring it back for the Indy 500 with Elio driving. The really cool story is Elio's driving coach that works for Penske is Rick Mears. So when Rick Mears was winning in the Yellow Submarine, Elio was a kid doing go-karting, okay, learning how to drive and become a race car driver. So his hero was Rick Mears. Now Rick Mears is driving coach. Now he's got a chance to make history. He wins it in the Yellow Submarine. He will be now one of 4 guys that have won it, 2 of which have won in the Pennzoil Yellow Submarine. So no pressure on Elio, but it's like, you've got to win this race. So the team has done a great job of going through and thinking, hey, what are all the things we can do to make a mark so people will stop, pause, and say, wait a minute, tell me about that. So it's that magic that John talked about that starts with the product. It's a motor oil made from natural gas. Makes people say, tell me more about that. We try to make the story easy. It's about complete protection. We can walk through the benefits. Because again, everybody's going to kind of connect to something different now. I'll tell you a quick story on, you saw the claim is on fuel economy, that we can demonstrate that our testing shows you get 550 more miles per year versus a dirty engine when you use our motor oil, okay? Now, I can tell this to this group, I can't tell it to an external audience, but I will tell you that, so I drive my Ford 150. It's got the fuel economy, gauge on it. And I think I normally get like 15.7 miles per hour. I drive to work every day, from the Woodlands to downtown every day. And we had a contest at the ALT about, getting the product in the car and all that. So point is, I had the oil changed probably about 2 months ago. Never really paid attention. The other day I was driving, I noticed that now I'm getting 16.0 miles per gallon. I didn't reset it, so it's now taking everything and average it up. So, I mean, as a consumer, I was like, you know what? I'm starting to notice a difference in it. I didn't tell anybody that story. We were talking to our technology group this week, and Lee Zorn, my technology manager, was telling a similar story about because we all had this contest to get the oil changed, and he said, you know what? I started to notice, and I said, Lee, I know we didn't talk about this, so I mean, if I notice it and Lee knows it, people are going to start to notice this. So it's one thing to make a claim, it's another thing to be able to experience it yourself and say, you know what, this is really different. And when that starts to get out in the marketplace and people start talking about this, that's where the power is going to come from. So I guess my message would be is that, yeah, we do a lot of things to get our message out. The difference this year is we're really looking for ways to tell the story like we've never done it before. And it's getting a lot of attention. So when you go out to South by Southwest, people are not expecting to see Pennzoil out there. We get a lot of stories about us, And when you get the Yellow Submarine winning the Indy 500, you're going to get a lot of stories about it. And so we're looking for those types of things to be able to kind of break through and really elevate us to a different place. Yeah? I think that's. And again, I mentioned that all this is being done, and we haven't even launched the product yet. The official launch is the 16th. It's next week. And we did all this to make sure that, one, the product's actually in the marketplace. We've got the messaging seated with the right people so people do their internet research. We've got all this in place. And I tell you, it feels good because I don't think, at least I've been with Shell 27 years, I feel good about the fact, you know what, we're ready for this launch. Our customers are excited about the launch. Our employees are excited about the launch. And now, as you start to see, we're starting to hear some of those consumers call in, ask questions, And the same story I'm telling you gets them excited. We just had one yesterday. A guy called in, is very involved in Bob's the Oil Guy. And he got a hold of one of our marketing folks, and they were kind of having this whole dialogue back and forth. The guy couldn't stop talking about it. So it's exciting. And I guess, again, my appreciation for everything you guys have done to get us to this place, to allow us to be able to tell this story. We could have done it if it didn't start right here. Yeah? So I think, I'll go back to you. Yeah.
I think he's got 2 more slides. We're almost wrapping up. Real quick, one of the things Rusty showed on the last slide, we're doing things different ways, and we have a really unique thing going on the OEM side, and also as it relates to car clubs. And I'll share a little story. I'm a Mopar guy, SRT guy. I have me and a couple guys have a car club here in Houston. We have about 2,600 members, and we are all about this. This is an amazing way for me to go to eat. All those engines have Mobil 1 stamps on them, but in the future, take a look at this. Our exclusive OEM partnership with Chrysler and SRT, we're actually going to be on the cap going in the engines. This is a fantastic accomplishment across all their vehicles, especially the SRT brand. You saw the video of Ralph, the SRT racing and all that kind of stuff. This is some really exciting ground for us. And somebody was sharing at another meeting that, we are getting, Rusty can probably confirm this, but we're getting kind of bombarded by the OEMs as this technology is getting out there. They're coming to us and kind of asking, how can we be a part of this? We have new engine technology coming years down the road, and they want us to be partnering with them and to really drive the performance and deliver the fuel mileage that needs to take place inside these engines. So they're looking with key leading technology partners, and that would be Shell, right? So this is exciting for us. I think we got one more slide. There's a quick glance at just some of the current OEM stuff going on. Some pretty awesome vehicles if you look at those brands. Okay. I think Rusty touched on this. Here's some of the paint schemes that are coming for the 22 car and the Helio car. So we're going to have some really cool stuff. So a lot of eyeballs will be watching that. It's like Rusty said, you can kind of read the car and go, wait a second, what is all that about? So really neat stuff coming in the future races. And so yeah, one more thing to share here. How many of you saw a little YouTube video where a car set the world's fastest record? Anybody see that? Couple? Little? Well, 5 million people saw it on YouTube, actually. 5 million people. We have the great opportunity to be partnered with Hennessy Performance. We started that relationship in the summer of last year. Kind of kicked it off at the Grand Prix, and it's been an amazing partnership. They have embraced our brands, our technology, and working together. And we're a big part of what you're about to see here in a second.
But why, some say, the moon? Why choose this as our goal? And they may well ask, why climb the highest mountain? Why, 35 years ago, fly the Atlantic? Why does Rice play Texas? We choose to go to the moon. We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things. Not because they are easy, but because they are hard. Because that goal will serve to organize and measure the best of our energies and skills. Because that challenge is one that we're willing to accept, one we are unwilling to postpone, and one we intend to win, and the others too.
What do you think about that?
So you can see we're doing things differently, and this is an exciting partnership that we are with Hennessy Performance. And you can grab the lights for me. We're just going to figure that out. I got a little story to tell. I actually got to go to that. That was unbelievable. I got to tell you, that was the most amazing thing to see the levels of teamwork at play. They actually had a failure the day before. I don't want to tell all the story, but to see the team come together and to accomplish that was an amazing feat. And I know on behalf of all of us at Shell, we're proud to be partners with these guys. So these guys are my personal friends, known them for about 10 years. I want to introduce to you Dave Golder. He's the general manager of Hennessy Performance. And we have a very special guest as well. John Hennessy is here with us, president and founder of Hennessy Performance. John, come on up. Thank you for being here.
Wow, it's awesome to be with you guys. And the Shell Pennzoil folks have kind of become an extended part of our family and our team. And getting to know Johnny and Rusty and the guys on the marketing side, and knowing their passion, not just for building and creating the greatest motor oil products in the world, but just things that go fast, whether it's NASCAR, IndyCar, or a bunch of crazy guys from Sealy, Texas that like to modify cars and make cars go fast. So so it's been cool to kind of see how the Shell Pennzoil folks do business, how they they do create the best products in the world, but they do it in a way where my observation is y'all are kind of like a one big family, and how I've seen them treat each other and interact with other people in a really big company, it's kind of been inspiring to me to look at our small company and say, how can we do things maybe a little bit better, a little bit more like how the Shell Pennzoil folks do their stuff. So anyway, something I want to say about Pure Plus and about what y'all do. Most of my interactions have been with the marketing guys. I'm a marketing guy, an idea guy. I like to go do crazy stuff, go fast on a runway, big dreamer. And I think the marketing folks kind of share some of that too. But I know within our company, and we have about 35, 40 employees, that I can have all the greatest ideas in the world and all kinds of whiz-bang marketing and, gas to liquid or 270-mile-an-hour cars, but it doesn't mean diddly squat if I don't have the guys in the shop that can build it, produce it, and deliver it. And so I totally get why Rusty and the marketing team are here today to talk to y'all, because all his marketing efforts and cool stuff and Yellow Submarine and Venom GTs and Tim McGraw and all that stuff, they don't really mean anything if the consumer can't walk into Walmart and buy the product or go to Jiffy Lube and get their oil change. And that's where y'all come in. So I'm very thankful for what y'all do. And I just want y'all to know that the motor oil that was in the Venom GT when we made that 270-mile-an-hour run and all the testing runs that led up to that, each one of y'all had a hand in getting it out of the ship and down the pipeline and through the swing valve and blended and into the container and package the container and the forklift and the truck and everything that everybody in this room has a hand or a duty. Y'all had a hand in the actual oil that was in our car when it went 270. So while we feel really good about what we did, and we're very supportive for the help from Shell Pennzoil on providing us with the best motor oil in the world, I want each one of y'all to know that in your own way, whatever y'all do here within the plant, y'all had a hand in that 270-mile-an-hour run. So y'all see that video or the video that's coming. Thank y'all. I mean, I don't know if I'm talking out of turn, but there's a show coming on TV here in a few weeks that will be debuted in New York next week, and I hope y'all get a chance to watch it. And Rusty, I'm sure Johnny will let y'all know about it, but you'll kind of see more of the story. But just know when you see that Venom GT blasting down the NASA runway where the space shuttle used to land and hitting that 270-mile-an-hour number, each one of y'all had something to do with that, and I'm very thankful. Anyway, Gary, I want to present something to you real quick, something to all y'all. Oh, here it is. Okay. On behalf of us at Hennessy Performance, I'd like to present this to everybody here at the plant. Thank you all for having us, and we sure appreciate being a part of your team. Thank you.
All right, thank you, John. And 2 weeks after the product was being produced here, the record happened on February 14th. So just freaking awesome. I mean, it really is. And I tell you, this guy has been so good for our brand. I mean, we talk about brand ambassadors. He has been out there helping us tell that story. So, John, I really appreciate what you and Dave and Don do for us. I really do. And one thing I failed to mention, too, that the brand ambassador program, can I speak to that just yet? So, Powering What's Next, you may have heard or seen some information about that. Powering What's Next was kind of what we came up with to say, you know what, we as Shell employees are making a difference. So we decided we're going to create this thing called Powering What's Next and use Pennzoil's launch of Pure Plus technology as a way to kick that off. I don't know what the next thing is going to come down the pipe with Powering What's Next, but it's saying that we as employees are the ones making this thing happen. So if you get an opportunity, go to poweringwhatsnext.com and you can log in as an employee, and you go through and you'll learn about Pure Plus, which you just did today. And then through that process, you can actually earn a certificate to take to Jiffy Lube and get an oil change and get the product flow in your car. Okay? So it's just another way for us to say thanks to all of us at Shell for helping pull this together. And again, I thank you guys for what you do, and thanks for helping us be brand ambassadors for our products. Yeah? So, yeah. Thanks.
Rusty. So how about that for the Pure Plus launch? Thanks, John, for the post there. So we're going to have a little bit more fun. So we're running over, as you can see. So we're going to extend our celebration for about 30 more minutes. So everybody okay with that? So we've got some fun to have outside. And we're going to break here in just a few minutes to go outside and have some more celebration. So a couple of quick things before we depart. Is there anything else we're missing here other than a few announcements? Okay. So first thing I want to thank Claudia and her staff. She put this together, got the shirts that we have, thanks to the marketing team for the hats and setting this up. To Donnie and the maintenance team, it's much cooler now than the last time, so I think you really delivered on that one. How does it feel? Today's our first group time in here. And Ron is taping this. One of the things we've missed in the past is our friends and colleagues that are on the third shift, so Ron's taping this so that they can share the experience as well. So we want to make sure we're totally inclusive. And last but not least, if you had a part in making Pure Plus, I want you to stand up. Okay? So did you do something with Pure Plus? So should be everyone in the room. You touched it some way, as John was mentioning, so give yourself a round of applause. We're making some big strides in the market. Okay? All right, last item of business. So we're going to go outside. You've probably noticed we've got some treats to celebrate. We'll stay on our break and celebration till 2:30. And be careful out there. We're got another surprise that's gonna have some raffles. All right, we always like giving away stuff, and we'll have some photo opportunities. Rodney?
I think this has been the best town hall ever.
All right, thanks for that. And so the last thing before you leave, if you're an operator, you get the first. You're the ones that make it happen. You get in line first. You get served first. You get your picture first. Staff, hang back and let these folks enjoy the day. Okay? Thank you.